Hi everyone, my name is Sofia and I study international relations at FAAP in São Paulo. So I'll be talking a bit about Sweden. Let's start with the background. Sweden is known for its advanced policies on gender and disability, supported by strong social welfare systems. The country has a long history of feminist leadership and activism for disability rights. The level is national, and the budget is about 2.5% of the GDP. The Discrimination Act 2008 and gender equality policy require that women and girls with disabilities have access to education, healthcare, and jobs. These policies aim to support all women and girls with disabilities, ensuring they have equal opportunities. There are a few challenges in implementing these policies in rural areas, and some services still keep people apart. The employment rate for disabled women is high. 65% are employed, but there are still reports of discrimination on the workplace.
Hi, my name is Rodrigo Cedillo, and I study engineering industry here in Tecnológico Monterrey Campus Querétaro. And in summary, for Mexico, women and girls with disabilities face multiple forms of discrimination that limit their access to things like the education, the employment, the healthcare, and the social participation. They are particularly vulnerable to violence, often without accessible reporting mechanisms or adequate support services.
Hi, my name is Lívia. I'm from Universidade Federal Fluminense, and about Control Brazil, it has made progress in the inclusion of people with disabilities, especially in the Brazil law of inclusion, but there are still challenges in terms of effectiveness and the inclusion of women and girls. The the level is national. The public budget is allocated to programs for accessibility, inclusive education, and healthcare. However, resources are often insufficient. About the text, the Brazilian Law of Inclusion, Law number 13146 of 2015, guarantees the rights of people with disabilities, focusing on accessibility, inclusion, education, healthcare, work, and protection against discrimination in ensures support for independent living and equal participation in society. Furthermore, Brazil also ratified the United Nations Convention of Rights of Persons with Disabilities, giving it constitutional status, which is the women and girls with disability of all ages, with particular attention to inclusion in education, the workforce, and violence prevention. About problems, implementation is uneven across states and municipalities. There are difficulties assessing inclusive education, healthcare, and job market, as well as lack of specialized service in some regions. At the end, although progress has been made, policies still face challenges. Inclusion in the job market is limited, and violence against women with disabilities and remains an issue. However, Brazil has advanced in creating more inclusive public policies, implementing rights.
Hey everyone, my name is Daphne. I'm a law student from Centro Universitário FAAP in São Paulo, Brazil, and I analyze public policies in Australia that focus on women and girls with disabilities. Overall, Australia has a strong legal and institutional framework with laws like the Disability Discrimination Act and programs like the National Disability Insurance Scheme that aim to promote inclusion, protect rights, and reduce inequality. One of the most important areas is the response to gender-based violence. Data from Report 2024 shows that women with disabilities face higher rates of violence compared to women without disabilities. 5.8% experienced physical violence in the past 2 years versus 4.2% without disability. 4% experienced sexual violence compared to 2.5% without disabilities, and 7% faced emotional abuse by a partner compared to 4.6%. These numbers highlight why targeted protection is essential. Organizations like Women with Disabilities Australia play a key role in advocating for their rights and safety. But despite the progress, challenges remain in ensuring accessibilities and equality and true inclusion, especially in rural areas and for women with diverse backgrounds. And there is also criticism in the bureaucracy in the service delivery. But in conclusion, Australia showed a strong commitment, but policies must go further to ensure real participation and protection for women with disabilities.
Hi, my name is Oscar Misael. I study in Tec de Monterrey Campus Tampico, and the conclusion that we as a team have reached is that the policies we review show real progress in supporting the rights of women and girls with disabilities. They follow global human rights standards, improve access to services, and raise awareness of discrimination. However, challenges remain, like uneven implementation and lack of funding. Real progress depends on stronger enforcement, fair budgeting, and including disabled women in decision making.
Hi, I'm Alejandra Rosales. I'm from Tec de Monterrey. Our proposal focuses on improving public policies for women and girls with disabilities across the countries like Mexico, Sweden, Brazil, and Australia. We aim to strengthen local implementation, ensure participatory policy making, and by including women with lived experience, allocate targeted budgets, and fight intersectional discrimination. By aligning with global human rights frameworks like CRPD and CEDAW, we can move from policy aspiration to true equity and inclusion.